Hi, everyone. I think we'll plan to get started. It's noon, my time, Eastern time. So thank you all for joining us and for taking the time to be here today. We are excited for our innovation webinar. With that, I just have a few housekeeping items for you. If my slides would progress, and then so would I. So we have two upcoming webinars in our Inclusion, Access, Equity, and Diversity series. 1 week from today, we'll be hosting a webinar on making CTE classrooms more inclusive for LGBTQ plus students on September 8th at 3 p.m. And then we also have a part 2, Confronting Isms in the Classroom, that will be held on October 5th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We look forward to seeing you on those two webinars. And with that, I am pleased to introduce Peter Wachtel, who teaches architecture and product innovation design at Adolfo Camarillo High School in Camarillo, California. He was the 2019 winner of the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Teaching Excellence Prize. Wachtel teaches after a 30-year career in the toy and entertainment industry, is the former president of the Southern California Toy Association, a published author of 2 books on toys, and has been a toy and product designer, inventor, director at companies such as Marvel and Six Flags. Wachtel has also taught design at the college level at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Pratt Institute, Parsons School of Design, and Otis College of Art and Design for more than 20 years. Peter is going to provide his email address and a few details in the chat right now. And with that, Peter, we so appreciate your time and expertise today, and I will hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Megan, and good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I posted in the chat room, ask questions away in the chat as you get them, and I'll do the best, as well as Megan, to answer your questions, but we can wait to the answer for a bunch of questions. But I put my email in there, my Twitter, my students' portfolio works, as well as what we do at Adolfo Camarillo High School in Camarillo, California. So hope everybody's well. Thank you for joining us. As Megan was saying, my background as a toy designer and a theme park designer for a long time. And we used to drive by the high school and say like, high school. And, obviously it's a high school. And I ended up just emailing the principal saying, hey, I'd love to come and just chat with the students about design and stuff, because I've been teaching at the college level as well as working. And it took 3 months, but eventually we got back, and she got back in touch, and she said, hey, our woodshop teacher and architecture teacher is retiring. Would you be interested in the job? And I said, yeah, maybe. So I basically went there from there. It wasn't credentialed or anything. Had to go through the credential process, but now it's been about 5, going on my 6th year at Adolfo Camarillo High School. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to bring outside people, industry, companies into your classroom, because believe it or not, they are more than welcome, more than excited to have high schools and colleges and students work with them, because it helps their labor force, their workforce, everything like that. So it's really amazing. So I'll show you a little bit about that. So we'll save the questions to the end, but I put my email and all that stuff into the chat room there. And I believe this meeting will be recorded, so you guys can enjoy it at your leisure on another time. So I'm going to present my presentation here. I'm just going to find it really quick, and then we'll get started. I'll show you all the things that we do. So it's going to be pretty fun. Here we go. All right, here we go. I'll make it big so everybody can see it. So if everybody can see it, I hope you can see it. Yep. Everybody good? You can see it? Perfect. All right. So here we go. You guys ready? So basically, this is CTE, bringing your industry into the classroom with real world projected skills. And as I was saying, I've been at Adolfo Camarillo for about 5 or 6 years now, which has been really awesome. We won awards, the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Teaching Prize for Excellence. We won a 2nd place prize there a couple of years ago, so it's really helped out a lot. So it's been pretty nice. And what I'm going to do here is to simplify this a little bit. There we go. There we go. So you can see everything coming up. So this is me, Adolfo Camarillo High School. So basically what I did is when I first started, they had a woodshop program, and they also had an architecture program. And I said it was a little bit antiquated, a little bit old, and needed to be updated. So what I did is I took what I taught at college level, as well as what I knew from industry, and rewrote the programs and submitted to the state. And now our program, it's a brand new, one of a kind, has been adopted by over 50 high schools and schools across the country. So it's pretty nice, it's catching on. But basically what I try to do is, instead of keeping it a blue collar kind of a class, I wanted to open it up to white collar and blue collar. So whether the students become lawyers, doctors, plumbers, carpenters, machinists, electricians, they all learn those life skills that they'll be able to use every day for the rest of their lives. So they'll be able to say, oh, wow, look at this. This will be awesome. And they can build stuff. So I'll start in with a little presentation. So this is us when we won the Harbor Freight Tools prize a couple of years ago. Great company, great things. They gave us a lot of support, ideas, and teaching, and a little bit of our makerspace that we actually have right here. So it's really cool. We got 3D printers, sign making machines, vacuum form machines, 3D printers, everything, laser machines. And so basically how I got into teaching and basically my self, who I am, is I've always been a kid at heart. I always was curious about things and how they were made and if I can make a difference. And in these classes, we get to be ourselves and sit, think, explore, and design and build things that never existed before. So what I tell the students is, when you're in my class, you're actually thinking with your hands. You could use all those things that you're learning in high school, like your English, your math, your science, in this class. So we actually cross-curriculate a lot of stuff, which is really nice. And I began my teaching career after I got my master's at Pratt Institute. So I was an industrial designer. But basically what I wanted to do is earn back some of my tuition because, you know, college is expensive. So I braced on my personality and everything. I wanted to design toys, right? So I started a toy design class at Pratt. And he agreed to it. So I got my tuition back and I taught there for about 3 years, and they actually still use the same curriculum, same syllabus, everything. And what was unique about that syllabus and curriculum is that you could understand, okay, we're designing toys, you know, for preschoolers or teenagers or board games or whatever. But what I did is at the end, the students had to be judged by the toys that they designed for. So for instance, if you designed a preschool toy, we would visit a preschool or a kindergarten and have those students judge those toys. And if it was a teenager, we'd go to a high school, and adults, you know, as you get it. So that was a neat kind of thing with that. So it's pretty nice. With the Harbor Freight money that we won, we got all these cool machines, tools, and things like that. And whether it's pre-COVID or during COVID, all these things that I'm going to show you will come in handy for no matter what you do. Because one thing that's nice is if it's during COVID and there's, you know, Zoom calls and all that, companies like what we were working for, like Ford, Universal Studios, Mattel, they're just as bored and antsy as you are. So if you reach out to them, they'll love to do a project with your students. It takes a little bit of work, but it's kind of fun. But basically, this is what I show my students, is that the way we teach here is using your imagination, and then whatever around you is worthy of exploration. And then if you have the desire and love for what you do and make it part of your life, then the skills, experience, as well as wisdom will come. And when I tell my students, it doesn't matter what you will be, but just love what you do. And then the money and all that stuff will come with it. So don't just get a job just for the money. Do it because you love it, because in every scenario of every job, there's going to be days that are terrible and icky and you don't like them, right? So this way, if you love it, you know, like your family, or you love swimming or football, you might lose a game, but this way you love it and you stick with it, and eventually the money will come, which is pretty nice. So I'll show you a couple of pictures of our shop. All the students, they painted all the doors. We have all these really cool projects hanging around. So there's lots of inspiration up here on the ceiling, lots of posters of all the students' work from throughout the years, lockers, work tables, all kinds of machines. So we have like a really great shop with all the kinds of things you possibly can need to build anything. So students could either build things out of wood, out of plastic, vacuum form, injection form, 3D print, anything you could think of. And I do teach the basic skills so that no matter what you do, like they end up being a lawyer, doctor, dentist, teacher, nurse, or even carpenter, plumber, they all know how to use the bandsaw, the router, scroll saw, 3D printing, responsibility, chop saws, hand tools, collaboration. These are all the things they do this. And we work with community a lot. We've done things with the Girl Scouts over here, Boy Scouts. we started a school shop about 5 years ago. We've raised probably close to 25 grand. What we do is we reach out to the community and say, hey, if you need a cutting board made, or if you need like a special toy made, or a gift, or holiday gifts made, we actually make them in shop and charge them, and then the money goes back to our program. So we're a little bit self-funding, which is really nice. We teach woodshop safety. We teach soft skills, like how to approach employers, how to reach out to people. So it's a really amazing class that all the students can actually get to. So it's pretty fun. And this is just a big collage of things we've done all over the years. We've worked with Harbor Freight, Tinkercad, Santa Barbara Zoo, Skills USA, Real World Scholars, Ventura College were articulated. So each college, each student gets 3 college credits if they get a B or above, which is really amazing. So whether they go to college or not, there's those 3 credits. And thanks to Harbor Freight as well. At the end of the year, seniors, I award 2 or 3 seniors $1,000 college scholarships that could be applied to either trade school or college. So it's really nice. So we've done a lot of things like that. We also do things around the school. We work with agriculture, drama, science, robotics. We build robotic, props. We do agriculture boxes and sell them. We work with drama and build all the sets. So pretty much if you teach, if you do anything in the school system, just use a little creativity with it. It doesn't have to be just things from a book like, oh, this is how you do this. Like reach out and have companies do this. And I'll show you a couple of examples of that, which is really kind of fun. What I do is basically in my classes, I try to combine all the things that they take in high school anyway into my class. So physics, entrepreneurship, design, science, English, history, business, and math. And you think, how do you combine all this stuff into that? Well, when you're designing something like a product, like we'll say, oh, we're going to design like a new tool to use every day, like a screwdriver, a hammer, or a saw. You have to work about the physics. Like, will this work? With your hand sawing or whatever it's going to do, will it actually work? And then entrepreneurship, it's like, how can you sell this? Could it make it actually a really cool product that you could sell on your own? So eventually maybe they have their own business. And in science, like how do you make this thing? Is it 3D printed? Is it wood? And then you have to present it. Each student at the end of their project, they have to present, with English words. How do you do this? How do you present your product so that it reaches everybody? And in the history, they have to research, okay, what exists? What has been done before? What's been invented before? And then of course the math, you got to build it, you got to measure it, everything that goes in there. And then maybe if they go into entrepreneurship, they have the business plan, like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then of course the design. So it's kind of mixing everything into there in cross curriculum. So it's really cool. And what we do every year is a lot of things we do is like with STEAM, the science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And they learn how to do things and how they're made and work and design and collaborate. And it is watered down from like a college level. It's not like, oh, it's so hard. It's actually fun. And basically what we do is we combine basically what my credentials were after I got my credentials. I have credentials in manufacturing, product development, arts, media, and entertainment, building, trades, and construction, and now architecture and engineering. So this is one of the things where we did a Shark Tank. So the students design products and then they would actually present them to the school board and see what their feedback was. Like, oh, you can make it better or different. How much does it cost? What does it do to make? Who is this for? So they actually are learning the whole A to Z of the design process, which is really nice. As I mentioned before, right now we've articulated over 100 students and 20 scholarships for college. And then of course the money from the woodshop store, which is really nice. So it's basically just thinking about your curriculum and how you could expand it, and then how it prepares the students for the job market. So I try to reach all students, and my students that I do have, they're boys and girls. They're 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grades, right? They have GPAs of a 1 all the way up to a 4.9. So I've had 5 to 7, I think, valedictorians. Some people go to Harvard, Yale, some people go to community college, some people go right into the trades. But what's nice is that in my class is a whole mixture, and they all get to interact with each other that normally they wouldn't see because they're in Math 2 or Math 3 together. So it's really nice. So basically what I do is in my class, I STEAM everything. Everything is combined and nice. And this is not my 4th year. This is actually going to be my 6th year. So sorry about that. But I emphasize your creativity, every grade, every pathway, and try to have them develop what they can do. And this is just a little bit of the products and stuff that we've designed over the years, which is kind of fun. And I teach real world skills and how it prepares for the job market. So what I'm thinking is, whether you become a carpenter, electrician, plumber, or a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, you'll know how to make your own things. You'll know how to start a business. You'll know how to arrange things, how to present, how to prepare. It basically teaches them how things are made and how to think three-dimensionally with their hands and how to actually design and collaborate with all the things that you're learning. And what we did is, and I've mentioned this before, we created the 5 new classes. They've basically been taken over across the country, which is really nice. 40 other high schools, now it's 50. And we mentioned, robotics, art, architecture, business, drama clubs on multiple projects. So the way that I look at students is that not all students are the same. So all the projects are different. So for instance, let's say we said our next project is going to be designing a toy. That's about as much as I give them. And what I say is, okay, how many kinds of toys are out there? There's preschool toys like the Rattles. There's teenager toys like action figures, vehicles, frisbees, squirt guns and stuff. There's board games. So I have the student decide what age group they want to design for, what's the demographic, how much it's going to cost, what are they going to make it out of, how would they sell it. So they learn all those A through Z things. So it's really nice. So you might ask what student collaboration with real world companies does for the students. So other than having a lot of fun and interacting with each other and stuff, they get to go on really cool field trips and they have a lot of learning memories. So one of the first things we did a few years ago is we went to Universal Studios and I used some of my contacts there. And they were asked to design the new Harry Potter themed promo cup at Universal Studios Hollywood. So we met with the park staff, went on a field trip, went on the ride, shows, attractions. So they had a lot of fun. And then we sat down with the park designers and people that do this. And so they designed with their 3D design programs, the Harry Potter themed promo cup. And these are the promo cups, that cost $50 or $30, and you can refill them with Coke every day. And then they presented their ideas and they were giving feedback. None of them were made, but they get that whole working experience of research, talking to the people, designing it, getting feedback, revising it back and forth. But then when they, graduate, they'll look back and like, oh, wow, I could probably do that. So that's pretty cool.
Hey,
This is
Peter,
them.
Peter,
Yes.
Peter, I just want to interrupt for a second. We have a lot going on in the chat, a lot of great questions.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to answer a couple of them real quick. I can read them to you or at the end, but I just wanted to make you aware that.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm almost there. So then I'll answer all the questions, or you can just shoot them out. There's really good questions. But yeah.
Yeah, it's fine to answer them at the end. I just want to point them out. There's some in the chat and some in the Q&A box.
All right, I will do that. I will do
Perfect.
that. I'm sure you guys got all kinds of cool questions. All right, cool. So here they are. They're all hanging out. And you can see there's boys, girls, all different kinds of people. This guy was a valedictorian, so that was pretty cool. And we went with the park staff, and it was really cool. It was a really cool thing. This is one thing we did for Harbor Freight a while back. So we didn't win, actually it took me 3 times to win this award. So persistence is key with anything you guys do. But what we did is I said, well, we didn't win, but could we design something for Harbor Freight Tools? Because I know that they do design and develop some of their own products. So what we did is we asked the executives there, can we design something? So we came to Harbor Freight. They gave us a whole tour of their shop, industrial designers there. And then we said, okay, what will the students come up with? And some of the executives came up with ideas like, we're looking to do something like this or this or this. And the students took it from there and they 3D printed, designed, and presented all of these things to Harbor Freight Tools. And none of them were made, but they got great feedback and stuff. So it was pretty cool. But it was a good learning experience and they could see where everything came from. One other thing is with collaboration with real world companies is we went to the Santa Barbara Zoo. We do this each year. We meet with the product staff at the zoo, all the animal people, veterinarians, everything like that. And what we do each year is we redesign an animal habitat based on the existing footprint that's at the zoo. So basically you pick, the giraffe or the tiger or the lion or the monkey, and we get the footprint of the exact footprint of that animal habitat. And then the students have to research the animal, where it comes from, what does it eat? Does it need shelter? Does it need water, food? And then they design that, 3D print it like down here. And then they present it back to the park zoo. So it's been really nice. So they're learning design, drafting, environmental design, space planning, all this stuff, but it's all in disguise because it looks like it's so fun. Like safety, ethics, global understanding, all that stuff. And they learn all this just from a project, which is really nice. We also do things just for the fun of it. So the Treehouse Masters is on A&E. We actually designed a bunch of tree houses and we sent it to Pete Nelson of Treehouse Masters, and they wrote back. So that was really cool. Another company we reached out to was Mattel. We do this. I worked with Mattel for a long time, but we visited Mattel, went through the whole design studio, saw all their big cars and everything, spoke with them. And then we designed little Matchbox and Hot Wheels vehicles and stuff and got feedback as well. So we usually do about 2 or 3 of these projects a year, which is really nice. Another one we did was with Ford Motor Company. So this was during COVID and everybody was on Zoom, Zoom everywhere. So we reached out to Ford and we decided we're going to work with Fordzilla, which is their online gaming platform. And these are actually real designers at Ford to design the vehicles and all that good stuff. And so what we did is the students designed the vehicles that would go on the online video game platform. And then my architecture students, they would design the environments that these cars would go into. So it was great live feedback. The students were all on the Zoom. The 4 people were on the Zoom, and we would design together in this program called Miro, which basically you could share creative documents and create instantly across many platforms. So that was amazing. And here's some more of the details. So some of the 3D programs that Ford introduced to us was this one program where you could actually design and actually be inside the vehicle as you're designing it. So you could see how long is this and how does this fit right or does this feel right? So it's really amazing. So basically what I try to do is develop student opportunities for work-based learning through real world projects. And then these are all the projects we've done. We could see that there's wood, there's plastic, there's 3D printing. We asked our community what we could do for them. We created a student-run business. And we have students reach out to the community at their workplaces to get more, projects and money into the shop so they can make new projects. So it's pretty cool. But it's cool. I mean, they learn all these kind of really neat things. And the effects that we have, the engagement level is amazing. They learn all these cool things. They tell all their friends. So in high school, we're allowed to have 175 students. And I usually get about 275 that sign up. So unfortunately, I don't have enough room for everybody, but it makes them excited about the work, excited about school. A lot of students, just pick up all their grades and it really helps that. And also I tell them that what we do in here, there's actually an employment opportunity for them. They could go in to be, product designer, an automotive designer, furniture designer, etc., and start at 55 grand a year or 85 grand a year. So it builds their confidence. They have real world projects. They might start their own businesses, and it's all articulated for college credit. So it's a win-win everywhere you can go. So it's really amazing. And then over here is just basically my 10 elements of good thinking. So I have the students look at this all the time, but basically whatever they're making or designing, is it fun? Is it interesting? Is it durable and memorable? Does it stimulate creativity and imagination? Encourage quizziveness and resourcefulness? Is this something that you can learn from? Is it challenging yet not frustrating? And does it invite new and repeated use? Does it involve interaction? Does it address developing needs? So they look at this and they look at their project and say, it's cool, but it needs a little bit more of this or that. So this is a way you can creatively think to do your work. So it's pretty fun. And how to get in contact or work with these real industries and companies. Basically what I say is just reach out, send an email. When I first started teaching, I didn't know anything. I reached out to Home Depot. I reached out to Lowe's. I reached out to Harbor Freight and B&B Hardware, right? And only Harbor Freight wrote back. So I was looking, any discounts on wood or tools. And then Harbor Freight wrote back and we started talking with them. And they actually came in and did the whole photo shoot for the beginning of that first Harbor Freight Tools for Schools teaching competition in our wood shop. So it was amazing. So we've been working with them since then. But for like Ford, Universal, Mattel, all these companies, Six Flags, basically, I just reached out to them and said, hey, would you like to work with my students on a project? And that's how you do it. You reach out and connect and try to collaborate. And some people will write back, some people won't write back, but that's how you do it. Think of it as like a job. But believe it or not, 90% of these companies will want to work with you in some way or form. So it's really nice. The students learn critical thinking skills, they're involved in the design process, and they love 3D printing. And one neat thing that I found at Harbor Freight is their platinum standard. And basically you have to have a teacher who loves what they do, is highly skilled, supported by colleagues, seeks opportunities, and is valued deeply in the community. And then everything else falls in place. So if you really love your kids and you really love your program, there's so much more you can do. And the question that I could ask you guys, if you're a high school teacher or a college teacher or whatnot, think of 3 companies you could contact to start a collaboration or a work-based learning project with. I mean, just think of 3, and then you can go on LinkedIn, you could go on the Google thing and just research the companies. Who are the people you need to contact and reach out and just write a paragraph or 2. Here's what we do. Would you like to be a part of it? And, anything we could do together. So it would be pretty fun. And even though this is the end of presentation and there's so much to think about, and I'll be answering the chat around now, I get save some time. But how I organize everything is I plan in decades. So this is just a nice word of wisdom. So plan everything out in decades, even though it seems like, what, are you kidding me? And then I think of my years, I work in the months, and I live in the days. So every day I live to the fullest, but I plan things out and I think them out and then just work. And that way you can actually do everything. And this is just my contact information down here at the end, but I sent that as well. So I'll stop sharing now and I'll go crazy with all the questions and stuff that you guys might have. And what I'll do is I'll also put my information here and get in the chat. So let's start with the Q&As. All right, so here we go. Do your community partners contribute to scholarships for your students? Yes, they do. They do that. So some people do that as well. Because one thing that I got the idea from, Fran, is that when I went to the awards night, my first and second year at high school, these students were getting scholarships, some of them 25 scholarships from all kinds of places, like BMW down the street and like some sort of like Boys and Girls Club. I mean, it was crazy. So yes, some partners do contribute to the scholarships. And then Halloween, working with ESL students, are you experiencing how to support students on these classroom learning if they have lack of interest? Yes, actually I do. I do not speak any other language than English, though I know 5 other languages. I know like 6 words of each language. But yes, I do work with English learning students. And we have translation, stuff like that. But luckily, for the most part, 100% of all the students do speak English. Maybe not as well as others, but we do a great job with that. So we take care of everybody there. So sorry, we were kicked off. I'm going to put my email and contact information there. So if you have any questions or need follow-up or something like that, I can send you my presentation, answer any other pertinent questions you might have too. So yeah, type away, put any of your questions in the chat, or you can use a question and answer thing. But it's very fulfilling. My class and the classes I do, I teach 5 periods a day, 175 students. So it's really nice. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically just starting. If you're brand new, get everything situated the way you like it first, and then feel free to reach out to people. Could students see this? David's asking, could students see this working for middle school students? Yes, absolutely. Totally could do that. Because basically, if you think about it, some of you guys may have been in industry before you teach, or you are in industry. So you can think about it. What would you think if a high school teacher, middle school teacher reached out to you like an email and said, hey, my name is at this high school, middle school. What would you think of doing this kind of a project with my middle school or high schoolers and just giving feedback on it? And keep it simple on their part because they have a day job. But it's really cool. It works out really nice. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, you'll get a reply saying yes. But just keep it really simple unless they really want to be a big part of it. But just basically coming there, maybe a field trip, maybe a virtual field trip. And then the students get to present and talk to them. So it's almost like having a guest day or a guest speaker, except you actually are doing a little bit more. So it's really nice. So cool. What other questions do you guys have? Put it in the Q&A or you can put it in the chat room. That's really good. And I'll just put that there. All right. So Sheila, people who have 21st century programs could possibly partner to create an after-school program for middle schools. Absolutely. Totally do that. They can totally do that. But it's going to have to come from you guys unless they reach out to you. So a lot of places that are doing like businesses or 21st century programs, they'll definitely do that, but you guys will have to ask for it sometimes. So don't wait, just go ask them. Because what we're supposed to do is say no. So that's good. Do you ever hear from students what type of career paths they did? Yes. I hear from my students all the time. they call me after they graduate, of course, or they're on my Twitter or Instagram, after they graduate and stuff like that. And sometimes they've gone on to become engineers, industrial designers, architects, as well as plumbers. And one really cool story is I had two brothers that were, those kind of students that can be a little bit of trouble sometimes, but they're good kids. They actually started their own garage, their own mechanic thing. But what they did on the side thing is they do custom cars. So they actually do custom bodies, paint jobs, spoilers, blowers, all that good stuff. So it's really nice. So it's nice hearing from all my students. So it's really cool. So oh yeah, there you go. So I asked your answer your question, Stephen. So yeah, it's great. I have a lot of students that I keep in touch with. So excellent. So what other questions do we have? If you have a lot of money and tools, where's the best place to start to develop a similar program? If you don't have a lot of money and tools, okay. So that's a great question. So if you don't have a lot of money or tools, so check this out. Our program, we get a good amount of money. There's a thing called CTEG, CTEIG, and Carlos Perkins, and they're state-funded programs that fund your program. Your CTE director or director at your school or district would actually write the grants to get that money. However, if you don't have much money or tools, the best place to start is you can ask your community for donations. You could also start maybe some sort of shop or store in your classroom and actually then raise money as well. And you can also just reach out to companies that maybe do it. So if you have a wood shop, you could reach out to Harbor Freight or other companies like that and say, hey, we're starting up, we don't have any much money. And that's a great thing to do that. And then also, is your class part of the CTE program? Yes, it is. And how do you have it funded? Well, I just did that. Did it for each project? Did you company project grant for each project? No. So yes, that's what sort of we answered. We're sort of self-funded with the shop we make. We make our own products. We make about 15, 20 grand a year. We have CTEG funding. We have Carlos Perkins funding. And then we have a Harbor Freight thing that I still have some money left over from, so as well. But you could always reach out to parents, the community, or businesses and say, hey, could you help fund our program? We need tools, we need 3D printers, we need that. And a lot of people go to GoFundMe or other websites that a lot of teachers use to help get some money for that. So each project isn't individually funded. We actually have enough money to cover everything. Christine's asking, is there also the K-12 SPU grant? The application window is open right now. No, that we do not do. We just do the CTEG and the Carlos Perkins because we're a CTE thing. How do you promote the class to all? So we are on social media. Great question. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you know this, all the students talk about the class to their parents. And then as I promote it on the social media sites, the parents then tweet, and retweet. So it becomes known as a really good class in the community. And then we also reach out to all the middle schools and schools in the area and the colleges. And we do career fairs or job fairs or school class fairs every year, twice a year, to actually show what we do. And it gets all these students in there. So they all know about what's going on. So that's how we promote the class to all. And then Sheila's has some of the smaller etching machines, 3D printers are not that expensive. Yep, that's true. Software is free. That's true. And Sheila, your shop brands, all itself, logos, social media is great. Can't post student photos without permission, but can post projects. Yep, that's very cool. In our school, actually, we can post any student's picture without permission. It's only if they wrote that they cannot be permitted. So that's why we can post a lot of students' pictures. So what their parents have to do is actually write that my student is not allowed to be photographed and stuff like that. So that's how it works with us. But our shop does brand itself. We basically show that, and then the students, they tweet what they design and build and everything. So it's really nice. So awesome. So yeah, I don't know what the SWP California grant thing, but yeah, we just do the Carlos Perkins and the CTEG thing. So that's pretty cool. What other questions we got here? Oh, cool. Excellent. Good, Christine. So what other questions do we got? Excellent stuff. But yeah, basically funding you could get anywhere you could think of. So if you are a CT program, you or your director can apply for the CTEG grant or the Perkins grant. So that's really cool. Or you could start a store, or you could ask for funding, or you could ask for donations, or you could start a shop. So there's lots of ways you can do it, which is really nice. Let's see, someone asked about promotion promote CTE like you would football, trophy cases, photos in the paper. Yes. So we also reach out, and we've been with social media stuff. We've been in newspaper articles from the LA Times to our local newspapers and nationals. Also, like webinars like this actually promotes our program as well. So we are everywhere. And it's really nice. And so that everyone in the area and the county knows about what we do. We compete with Skills USA, so they know about us there. So do whatever you can to promote, like football does. Yeah. The only thing we don't have like woodshop t-shirts or stuff like that, which we're actually thinking of doing. So they'll be really cool. Let's see, the Perkins grant will vary from state to state depending on your particular state administrator's funds. That's true. That is true. And needs and size of the program. That's cool. So excellent. Yeah, we have our showcases, we have videos of our students' project. So when you guys go to our Twitter and everything like that, you'll see the videos and everything else that we do in there. So it's really nice. So that's pretty cool. So what other questions you guys have? So it's awesome. I'll check the Q&A here really quick, see what we got. Steve, we already answered you, so we're all good. All right, so Sheila, we have a district doing a food truck, auto shop, and design class, culinary working together to fix an ambulance. That's awesome. So promote that social media, just like all over the place. That's awesome. We're doing something similar. You know how the supervisors drive around on golf carts sometimes if your campus is big enough. So we're actually taking all the golf carts into the wood shop one by one, stripping them down, sanding them down, repainting them, pinstriping them, doing the wheels, blowers, spoilers, all that kinds of cool stuff. So it's going to be kind of amazing. And it's not like it's not like an auto shop, like we're not doing electronics, but it's like a body shop. So it's like a new kind of thing to that. So that's really cool. Doug's asking, how do you run your program when COVID sent you virtual? So basically what we did is we did online Zooms and Google Classrooms. We also work with Tinkercad, Tinkercad. It's online, it's free. It works on PCs, Macs, Chromebooks, tablets, anything. You need a mouse, but basically kindergartners enough can use it. And it's a great 3D design program. They could do with architecture or product design. And then anything you guys design is actually, you can 3D print it, and it's super easy to use. So that's what we use. And we still use it this day. And we used it even before that. And then we would have guest speakers and projects, all virtual on that as well. So let's see, now question, fun fact, we are to Fusion Edge. Let's see, analog manufacturing construction programs at Perkins, cool. And our teachers fundraise additional rotary machine and drop to raise the DECA program. Awesome. Water Bell sells them. Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. That is really cool. Let's see what else. Put your shop logo on everything. Yeah, like almost like brand your class. Like what is it going to be? What is it going to be called? It's really awesome. What grade levels are your classes intended for? Do you have an intro, concentrated, capstone, and progressive? Yes, Christine. So yes, my classes are for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. And we do have an introductory, a concentrator, and a capstone. Basically, it's like Prog Design 1, Prog Design 2. And then there's a shop mentor manager position where that student will then help other students, both in architecture and product design. So it's really cool. Let's see. Students will design online, can send their designs to the school to be printed. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Cool, Sheila. Yeah, this way in our school, we could print anything we want at any time we want. So the students, once they know how to 3D print everything, it's awesome. So great job, guys. That's awesome. That's cool. Yes, think as many things as you can because it will make your life a lot more enjoyable. The students' life more enjoyable, fulfilling. Everything you can do that is positive for those kids and yourself is all awesome. So it's really cool. So nice. So what other questions we got? I'll check the Q&A really quick. Awesome. We're good on time. So that's sweet. But yeah, basically look at it as like, here's my class or my classes. What can I do to make it more real world? Is there any companies I could think of at the top of my head that I could reach out to? Can I email them? Can I find them? How do I get funding? Just start thinking of things like that. It'll make it more interesting because you can take all the standards that you need to teach your students and then you can make it in any project that you want it to be. A toy, a new tool. You could be doing one project we're going to be doing, depending on COVID and stuff. We're going to visit IKEA here in Burbank. And the Burbank IKEA is the biggest one in the whole world, believe it or not, right now. So you're like, why are you going to IKEA? It's just like a store. So the reason why I'm doing it is because IKEA, if you've ever been there, you love it, right? They have all these really cool interiors. bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, and you walk in there and they also have all this cool product like chairs, furniture, glasses, all this stuff. So the students are going to go to IKEA, take a field trip. I'm reaching out to some of the people that work there and design there. And we're going to do a project with them where the architecture students will be designing the interior rooms for IKEA. And the product innovation design students are going to be designing the products for IKEA. Now, I don't think they'll make any of them, but the students will then see in their heads like, wow, I designed something for IKEA. I designed a room for IKEA. I know I'm just a high schooler and they're not going to make it, but when I graduate, if I go to college, I could end up doing that and making money and all that good stuff. So they could see how they can connect the dots. Not like where you do math and you're like, I'm gonna be a mathematician. What? So it's really cool. Yeah, IKEA designs are really cool. Do any other CTE pathways have the same approach to your school and your school district? I don't see too many of them, Christine. I know that some of the other pathways that maybe have adopted my program have the same work-based learning approach. There are some things here and there. For what I see mostly, I'm doing for what I know. So if I was a theme park and toy designer, there's no way I'm going to be a welder teacher. It just doesn't make sense. So it all depends on what kind of teacher it is and what kind of pathway it is. And some teachers are more old school, like we're doing architecture, we're doing the draftings, we're doing all this stuff. We're going to design banks and restaurants. It all depends on the teacher. A lot of it just depends on the teacher. And I'm just doing it like architecture. Okay. So I worked at theme parks. So we're still doing the drafting. We're still doing the bathrooms. We're still doing the restaurants, but they're a theme park restaurant bathroom and stuff. So it's a lot more entertaining for the kids, but it's the same thing. An architect designs a theme park the same way as an architect designs a bank. So it's really nice. So I do that. An entrepreneur pathway could do this kind of thing with almost any product. It could. And then they could cross curriculum with that, Sheila, with if you have some sort of makerspace or wood shop, you could have that entrepreneurial pathway. So they're actually making stuff or even 3D printing stuff. And we have a couple of entrepreneurial pathways, which is really cool. And let's see. And then we are doing things using traditional arts, beading, carving, silver on a basis. That's cool. Yep. Added marketing, business law. Cool. Yeah, and just take it as like, what do you kids love? They love video games, they love movies, they love famous people, right? And they love sports and they love music and all this stuff. So how can you take all those things and stick them into a project? So that one thing I found that when I do these things, it keeps me younger and I stay younger and learn this because my students are keeping me young. It's really cool. So it's really nice. So very cool. Business law. Okay, cool. All right, did I answer everything? I'll put this in here just in case anybody is missing anything. Let me check the Q&A. Yeah, Q&A is all good. Awesome. I don't know. My dad, he was a funny guy. He said when I was born, I was hatched or launched. And I think they broke the mold on me. But thanks. No, it's just I'm just excited about it. It's fun. I love teaching. I love the students and I loved my job and I still design theme park stuff and toys, but this is now my full-time job, but I love it. And the kids love it too. And they could see the connection a lot more clearly. So that's why I do it. So thank you. All right. What else we got? Megan's back. She looks happy. Look at that.
I'm just relieved. I just want to apologize from ACTE for our sort of pause and things, but we're so glad everyone jumped back in and continued the engagement piece of all the questions. And we'll still be able to put the recording together and put it on our website. And I think Peter's given his information several times. So if there's any questions that we missed due to the pause, but our IT guru, Brandy, even went back to the recording and got the questions and posted them in the chat from the last recording. So I think we were able to capture everything, which is great. So any final questions for Peter? Otherwise, I would like to thank everyone for their time for joining the webinar. I would like to thank Peter for his exceptional skills and time and expertise. We so appreciate him being here today. And a reminder to everybody that we have another webinar in about a week. So from today, so we hope everyone will join that one. So again, thanks to everyone from ACT and thank you all for your flexibility in rejoining the meeting. So thanks everyone. And thanks again, Peter.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, guys. And if you want, I put my stuff in the chat. You can email me anytime. I'll have to go teach in a half hour anyway, so I won't get back to you anytime soon. But I'll get to you before the end of the weekend. So thank you. And any other questions? You all good? All right. Well, have a great week. We have a 3-day weekend coming up as a Labor Day on Monday, so that's awesome. All right. Well, have a great week, guys. And yeah, reach out. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You can email me, take a look at my student stuff, and have a great week.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you, guys.